kindness is often thought of as a positive thing, and it is. You don't often hear people talking about a negative side to kindness. So that's what we're going to talk about. I have 2 stories to tell from personal experience about the misuse of kindness. The first one involves a close friend of mine who asked for the loan of some money some years back. I think the amount was maybe £150 or something like that. And he was in need, so I loaned him the money. Several months went by and he paid me back. But then, a little while after that, he asked me for the loan of some more money, and I loaned him it again. And it took longer to get the money back this time. And then he asked for the loan of some more money. And then, before he paid it back, he asked for the loan of some more money on top of that money. And I'm getting the general gist of the details right here, but I can't remember exact amounts or the exact way or frequent, the exact timings of the loans and everything. But I started to realize after a while that what started out as need-based turned into something else. He started looking upon me as a resource that he could exploit anytime he wanted to. He started looking upon me. He started factoring me into his personal finances. So that in the back of his mind, even if he didn't, consciously plan this, he was always thinking, I can do this or that because I can always ask Darryl for another £100 in a couple of months. And it got to the point where I started to get inwardly very angry about being treated that way. And the delays that would happen in being paid back, he did it because I tolerated it. And in the end, I had to have an unpleasant confrontation with him where I said, listen, you've got 1 month to pay me back what you owe me, or we are done. We are completely done. Friendship over. And this knocked some sense into him. And he did. He paid me back. But he's put himself in a situation now that no matter what, he knows he cannot ever ask me for the loan of money. So you see how, as a result of me just choosing to be kind, I ended up causing myself, emotional distress, because I don't like confrontations. I didn't want to become angry. I didn't want to become resentful, but that's what happened because I was being exploited. So you see, sometimes kindness is not the answer. Sometimes withholding kindness is the answer. Difficult to know maybe when to be kind and when not to be kind. But you see these memes on Facebook from time to time, about things like the virtue of kindness or whatever, and they're stated in such a way that you should always be kind to everyone. No, you'll just be exploited. There are people who use being on welfare as a lifestyle choice. It's not that I understand perfectly that we have welfare because people can't find work. Legitimately, people who want to work can't find work. But there are people who choose it and exploit it as a lifestyle choice. That's the abuse of the kindness of the government. It happens. It shouldn't, but it does. So that's one story about kindness. I said I had two. The second story involves other people who are kind to you, but they're using it as a weapon. Case in point, I had a neighbour who wanted to tear away the hedge between our two properties and build a wall. But this involved a little bit of discussion about where the exact boundary of our properties lay. It was very clear to me where it lay because of the original posts that had been set at both ends of the property. But she kept trying to encroach about half a foot onto my property to do with where some concrete slabs had been laid. That the concrete slabs didn't represent where the boundary of the property actually was. But it was clear that where the actual boundary was, there was no doubt about it. But when the work was going on, I had this sort of a miniature, what's the word for it? It's not like a shed, it's kind of like a storage cabinet, big metal storage compartment around the side of my house that I wasn't using for anything, and it was just lying on its side. And she suggested to me, why don't you let me get the workmen who I've employed to take that away for you? And I thought, yeah, that would be useful to me actually, because I don't have a car and a trailer, and it's just been sitting around at the side of my house for many, many years. That would be useful to me. So I immediately said, okay, thanks. And a few seconds later, she said, yes, we work together. And I instantly knew when she said that was designed to induce guilt in me, that I wouldn't allow her to plant her wall, to erect her wall exactly where she wanted it to. So I was the one who wasn't willing to work together. So she thought that by being kind to me, I would then be indebted to her. You see how kindness is used as a weapon? I'm really not, you may be thinking I'm reading too much into this situation, but I'm really not. I was there. I know the tone of voice. I know what she's like. So I immediately said, I went back into the house and I thought about it a second, and I said to myself, I do not want to be indebted to this woman. So I walked back out and she was still in her garden, and I said, you know what? Just forget about it. Just leave the container where it is. Just forget about it. And she went, see, Darrell, you always change your mind about things. No, it had nothing to do with changing my mind. It had to do with realizing what she was actually up to. I can't stand this person. Can't stand manipulative people. There are manipulative people who prey upon the good-naturedness of others, who prey upon the fact that they're counting on the fact that you're not going to kick up a stink about anything, that you're not going to be impolite. And I wasn't impolite, but I've often thought, because these kind of situations do occur now and again, to really, really call people on their BS, to really point out to them, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be treated like this by you, and to really voice the thing that is going on psychologically inside their own minds and see how they react. That would be interesting. But unfortunately, you have to be really on the ball. You have to be really savvy immediately to notice these things. And in that case, I really wasn't. I should have noticed immediately when she was being kind to me that something was up. But I didn't. Real kindness, should be a thing that friends enjoy together. It should be a reciprocal thing where you're kind to your friend without thinking about what you get in return. But at the same time, in the back of your mind, you know that that friend is also kind to you in the same way, and nobody's keeping score. I have a friendship like that in my life, where none of us are keeping score and we don't care. We're just kind to each other, and it's good. It's good. But people who use kindness as a weapon, and people who count on your kindness as a way of exploiting you, it's terrible, but it happens. Humans are so perverse. So, all I would say is, watch out for these things in your life, and watch out that you're not the sort of person that uses these things upon others, because it isn't fair.